Happy birthday, Xbox! Here's everything that you need to know about Xbox over the past 2 years. If you want to get your holiday shopping done early this season, check out the links down in my description because I have links to all sorts of stuff: games, consoles, accessories, you name it. If you like watching my videos but for whatever reason are not subscribed, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button, setting your notifications to all, and help me out on my journey to 100,000 subs. What is up, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Xbox Ready. I'm doing something a little bit different today, because we're coming up on a very important milestone as Xbox fans. The 2-year anniversary, the second birthday of the Xbox Series X and S. Let's examine some of the things that Xbox did right and the things that they did wrong, and I'll discuss the things I'm looking forward to as we go forward in this generation. So leading up to the release of these consoles, the Xbox Series X and S, the Series X specifically was being marketed as the most powerful console in the world. I even bought a shirt at GameStop that says literally just that: the world's most powerful console, the Xbox Series X. And certainly these consoles came out the box with some features that I thought were really cool. One of them being 1440p support. This was something that was added to Xbox consoles starting with the Xbox One S and One X, and naturally it carried over to the Series X and the Series S. Wow, I'm gonna get those names confused probably a couple of times in those videos. Dang you, Xbox, for naming these consoles so similarly. 1440p remains the most common resolution for monitors, at least. So albeit small, I thought it was a cool feature to have out the box, especially when you look at PlayStation 5. They didn't get 1440p support until like a couple of months ago. Next up is variable refresh rate. This is something that was introduced to Xbox One consoles in 2018. Long story short, it prevents screen tearing. It offers a smoother experience theoretically for unoptimized games. And it definitely came in clutch this year when there was a ton of games being released that were unoptimized, unfinished. Dying Light 2, Elden Ring. There was a huge controversy of like, whoa, this thing isn't even like breaking 50 frames per second. Although it wasn't a perfect solution, I do have a monitor that supports variable refresh rate, so it did kind of smooth out my experience a little bit when I was playing Elden Ring. Thankfully, both of those games I mentioned received performance patches shortly after launch, but in the meantime, variable refresh rate, at least for me, came in pretty clutch. First of all, not every game is going to benefit from having variable refresh rate on. Some people are finding that having VRR turned on can compromise other aspects of your picture quality. Xbox has recognized this, and as of September, they're testing out a feature in the alpha skip ahead rings that allows you to toggle this feature on and off depending on what you're doing. As per the notes, you can now specify when variable refresh rate is enabled by choosing between always on, gaming only, or off. Despite its drawbacks, it can be a really useful feature, and I'm glad they included it out the box. One of the more exciting transitions for this generation was the transition into SSD technology rather than HDD, a solid state drive. This has provided us with some really cool features like super short loading times. It also allowed Xbox to introduce another really cool feature, quick resume. I've talked about it a few times on the channel before, which essentially allows you to suspend a game in that same moment, and then you can jump back in right away without having to boot the game back up whenever you turn your console off. And there are some games that I've left for months pinned to my quick resume queue, and I'll check in with them and I'm literally right in the moment that I was where I left off months ago. But sometimes quick resume doesn't always work. I've detailed my frustrations with quick resume in Halo Infinite many times. Quick resume online games just don't play nice for some reason. But it's not just multiplayer games, it's not just online games. Quick resume and Scarlet Nexus, for some reason, again, just did not play nice with each other. Again, this is something that Xbox acknowledged and is working on. First, by letting you pin games to the quick resume queue. It used to be because you have a maximum of 6 games in quick resume, other games would get bumped off if you started a new one. Now you can prioritize which games that you actually want in the queue by pinning them. And they're also testing out a feature where you can just turn quick resume off. I don't know if that means that they're just giving up on it. I hope they don't, because again, it's a really cool feature. Another feature that's come in clutch for me multiple times is smart delivery. In a world where people are trying to make you pay for game upgrades, smart delivery is a godsend. Smart delivery is a technology that automatically delivers the best version of a game you've purchased for your console, regardless of your console's generation, with no extra steps required for you. So if you download a game on your Series X, you don't have to worry if you're getting the optimized for the Series X version of the game. It's already done for you. And it also presents us with this kind of hack for us to get these free upgrades for these older games. For example, I wanted to talk about Assassin's Creed Origins before it came to Game Pass. And then when I went on the Microsoft Store, they were trying to sell it for full price for the Xbox Series X and S version. So I went to good old GameStop and I picked it up for like $8. But when I put the disc in, it automatically, via smart delivery, delivery downloaded the next-gen updates, despite the fact that I bought an Xbox One $8 copy at GameStop. Since the launch of the Xbox Series X, there has been a lot of scrutiny about how hot it runs, apparently. I haven't had any problems with overheating so far, but I am pretty diligent about going in and cleaning my Xbox. And I thought the ventilation system, it's not perfect, but I thought it was pretty good. First of all, my Xbox runs way quieter than my PS5. But yeah, since the launch, people have done multiple tests and they're like, damn, this Xbox, the Series X, the Series S, they run pretty hot. And if you open up the chassis, if you open up the back panel, you'll see that all the components are really, really tightly packed in there. So just looking at it from a proximity standpoint, yeah, I'm sure it's probably gonna run pretty hot, guys. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on looking forward. Another feature that was really cool at launch, but has since become less cool, is Instant On, which is now sleep mode. Instant On, sleep, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're able to instantly boot up your console, and instead of fully turning off, it just kind of goes and takes a nap. This allows you to use some remote features. It allows you to download updates even while your console is off or sleeping. But since launch, people have discovered that Instant On sleep mode takes up a lot of power, like way more power than just the turn off or standby mode, whatever it's called now, the other mode, shutdown mode. I'm always getting the names confused. And even more than that, people in my comments have even gone so far as to say that Instant On is killing their Xboxes, killing them, shortening their lifespan, absolutely murderizing them. And while I can't confirm that Instant On is killing my Xbox or anything like that, it seems that the team at Xbox is working to bring some features that we're seeing in sleep mode or Instant On over to shutdown or power-friendly eco-saving mode. Next up, let's talk about sales. Let's talk about numbers. Allegedly, the Xbox Series X and S are the fastest selling Xbox consoles to date. Meaning at this point, 2 years into the console's life cycle, the Xbox Series X and S have sold more than the Xbox One, obviously the 360, and the OG Xbox. In terms of sales, Xbox is still lagging behind PlayStation 5s and Nintendo Switches, but they have made up a lot of ground considering where they were this time when the Xbox One launched. Turns out they made a pretty decent product, man, a product that people want. And a large part of that is because of the Series S. Multiple people from the Xbox team, Xbox leadership, have come out and said that more than half of the new players coming to the Xbox ecosystem are doing so through the Series S. I've seen a lot of people online saying, man, it's really cool to have a next-gen console, but at this price point, you know, I'm in college or I'm working multiple jobs. I don't necessarily have the income for a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. But recently, the Xbox Series S has come under fire. The poor little Series S just cannot catch a break, man. There was a whole situation where that one guy who worked at Rocksteady tweeted a bunch of stuff saying that the Xbox Series S is a potato. I'm not a game developer. I've never developed or made a video game in my life. I cannot speak on whether or not Xbox Series S is holding back gaming, if it's harder to develop games, if it makes the job of a developer harder. And while the jury is still out on the Series S, whether or not it's holding back gaming, I cannot say. I'm not a video game developer. People seem to be hungry for a budget-friendly console. And no, it's not the most powerful. No, you're not gonna get true 4K or like amazing looking graphics compared to the other ones, but I think it has its place and I think it's performing very well considering everything that's going on. Next up, let's talk about games. When the Xbox Series X and S launched back in 2020, we had pretty much nothing. It was looking like pretty rough at the beginning. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have another repeat of the Xbox One generation where first-party output was kind of lame. Halo Infinite was supposed to launch alongside these consoles back in 2020, but they were like, oh no, we gotta delay the game. Fast forward to 2021, and that was the year, baby. That was the year. Sort of. It was kind of confusing. Xbox Game Studios won Publisher of the Year. The games that they published that year, believe it or not, had the highest average Metacritic score compared to other publishers. This included games like Age of Empires 4, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, and Forza Horizon 5. So yes, Xbox Game Studios, that's awesome. That's a great achievement, but it was kind of disjointed. It felt kind of weird. A lot of the player base for Xbox couldn't play Age of Empires 4 because it's only on PC, but they're counting the whole Xbox ecosystem. I get it. Which brings us to 2022, year 2 of the Xbox Series X and S consoles. We were supposed to get some really big games, and I was hyping it up this time last year of like, oh guys, just wait until 2022. We're gonna have Redfall, we're gonna have Stalker 2, we're gonna have Starfield, and then the time came and they were like, actually, all those games are delayed. Stalker 2 gets a pass, obviously. The team had way bigger issues to deal with. And then the other two, Redfall and Starfield, that was a huge bummer, obviously. It was such a bummer that Phil Spencer came out yet again and said, guys, First party alpha for Xbox, I understand. It's been lacking, I'm sorry. But I am back here again, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you once again that 2023, next year, is gonna be our year, baby. It's gonna be the year of Xbox, baby. There is a scenario where they could release Forza Motorsport 8, Redfall, and Starfield in back-to-back months. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but we know from the Xbox Bethesda showcase that those games, at least Redfall and Starfield, are gonna release sometime in the first half of 2023. Because back in June, they said, these are all the games that are coming in the next 12 months. 12 months, guys, that's what we're focusing on, and that would make it on track for those games to be released before June of 2023. But outside of that, we do have some interesting third-party timed exclusives coming up. One of them is High on Life, coming out in December. And the next year, hopefully we also have Ark 2. Hopefully, if this Activision Blizzard deal goes through, maybe we'll see Diablo 4 coming out alongside in between those periods of time of Redfall, Starfield, whenever they decide to release. Hopefully, 2023 is our year. Next up, let's talk about Game Pass. Like I always say, it's not an Xbox ready video unless we talk about Game Pass, baby. A couple of good things for Game Pass over the past couple of years. It has been confirmed profitable. So a lot of people were like, oh, it's just a money sink for Microsoft. Even if they're losing money, it doesn't matter because Microsoft, they have so much money. They're just Mr. Moneybags over there. Phil Spencer did come out and say it represents 10 to 15% of their revenue, not Microsoft's revenue, of the gaming revenue. At the time when the Xbox Series X and S launched, they were sitting at around 18 million subs. It has since grown to at least 25 million. Phil Spencer won't say anything more about subscribers, but even that 25 million, that's kind of an older number. I believe that's what we were hearing, 25 million subscribers at the beginning of 2022. So I'm sure it's a little bit more than 25 million. How much more? I'm not sure. They did say that growth for Game Pass on consoles have kind of slowed down over these past 2 years, but that PC Game Pass has seen really incredible growth. Some hits, some misses, but overall, I think Game Pass, especially this year, has done a really good job. For 2022, it's been pretty light on those marquee Game Pass editions, but Game Pass subscribers still managed to hold steady with the content that they have right now. And I can only imagine that interest in Game Pass is gonna shoot up once Xbox starts putting out those first-party games. We know that Xbox is interested in doing more events, more showcases, sort of like State of Play, sort of like Nintendo Direct. I think they could benefit greatly from having one just dedicated to their Game Pass edition. Next up, let's talk about accessories. Over the past 2 years, Xbox has released a ton of controllers. I've gotten to take a look at some of them on the channel. They also released a new version of the Elite Series 2 controller, the Elite Series 2 Core. Now, this was supposed to be a higher quality build of the previous version of the controller because a lot of people were saying, hey, my controller's breaking down, I'm having stick drift, I'm having issues with my bumpers. So they came out with a Core, they were like, okay, this new white Core controller, listen, it has better parts, better build quality, should last you for a lot longer. And for me personally, it's been holding up very well. I can't say that's the case for everyone. Your experience might differ if you want to pick one up for yourself. And they also went with the decision to split up the controller and the accessories that come with it. I've been enjoying my controller, but it's looking like 2023 is going to be the year where they at least reveal the Series 3. In addition to this, we've gotten a lot of software and UI updates on Xbox. One of the biggest and most exciting ones for me was when they added Discord voice chat to Xbox consoles, and it has proved to be pretty convenient. At the beginning of this console generation, Xbox came out and they said, guys, listen, we hear you, we're gonna make massive improvements to game sharing and DVR. And since then, they've done some stuff, but they haven't done, I feel like, as much as they let on in the first place. We have seen some improvements when it comes to clip sharing, at least on our mobile app and on the Windows game bar. For example, you can trim your game clips and then share them. That's something you weren't able to do before. We also have the ability to share clips and screenshots directly to your phone without using Xbox Live in the mobile app. Honestly, I would really like to see some sort of video editing app on your console. I know it's kind of tricky because you can't get too complicated with the software when it comes to that, but it would be nice to do like basic edits on console and then share them directly to wherever. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. As of right now, game recording, game sharing, it seems kind of limited. And if I didn't have an external drive, I couldn't even capture clips longer than a minute. That seems like kind of a problem. On top of that, a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were excited for this new Xbox dashboard, but from the first couple of images we've seen, it looks a little bit questionable, a little bit cluttered. Some people have even gone so far as to say that it looks like a gigantic ad for Game Pass. That is something I'm not looking forward to if it goes through, if it's official for 2023. Over the years, they have added some really cool accessibility features like colorblind filters. Over on the Xbox app on Windows, they've added some cool things, and they also added an update saying, hey, this game will run great on your PC, or it should. They also added Twitch back into the Xbox guide. Now, this was really cool to see. Obviously, Twitch has been MIA on Xbox consoles for a hot sec because Microsoft tried to introduce their own thing, Mixer, it was a whole thing. But I know a lot of people are hungry for other options when it comes to streaming. Since launch, we also got a 4K dashboard. That's always nice, 4K Ultra HD. But some people have been reporting that their HDR has been acting up when going into a game and then back in the menu. The colors are washed out sometimes. So hopefully they'll continue to refine the dashboard, the UI, and eliminate some of these small but annoying problems. Anyways, guys, that is a look at Xbox over the past 2 years. I'd love to hear down in the comments some of your favorite things that have come out of this generation so far, and some things that you're looking forward to in the future as an Xbox owner.